Hey, it's Ivan. If you're going through a tough time right now, I see you. Whether you are starting an online business, stuck in a rut, or just trying to keep it together. It's easy to feel like giving up. But I'm telling you right now, resilience is not something you are born with. It's something you can build. And today, I want to give you 5 practical ways to build that resilience. Hit that subscribe button and let's do this. Step number 1. Reframe failure as feedback. When I first started online, I genuinely thought failure was the end. I believed that if something didn't work, it meant something about me. That I wasn't smart enough, or skilled enough, or cut out for this kind of work. I had launches flop, ideas bomb, posts go completely unseen. And every time it felt personal, like the universe was confirming what I feared deep down. You are not good enough. It felt like failure wasn't just a result, it was a judgment. And yet, here is what's wild. When a child tries to walk and falls 100 times, no one says, maybe walking isn't for you. They keep going, naturally, instinctively. So, when did we lose that? When did one setback become the reason we stop? Somewhere along the way, we started believing that failure means finality. That it's a sign to quit instead of a signal to adjust. But here is what I've learned after failing over and over and over. Failure isn't a stop sign, it's a signpost. It says, that route didn't work, try another one. And if you listen carefully, each failure gives you a map for what to do better next time. Let me give you an example. I once spent weeks creating my very first lead magnet and funnel. I was proud. I thought, this is it. I launched it and 0 leads. No clicks, no subscribers, silence. Old me would have taken that as proof I wasn't cut out for this. But I forced myself to ask, what exactly didn't work here? Turns out my headline was confusing, and my call to action was buried in the design. So I made changes. I relaunched it. And this time, leads started coming in. That first failure became the feedback I needed it to actually succeed. If you are building anything, a business, a side hustle, even a new habit, you will fail. Not once, not twice, over and over. But each one is a lesson in disguise. Every flop is an opportunity to grow, refine, improve. Resilient people aren't the ones who never fail. They are the ones who stop seeing failure as the end and start seeing it as data. So next time something doesn't work, don't ask, what's wrong with me? Instead ask, what is this teaching me? Because that question changes everything. Take your last failure, reframe it as a lesson today. What's yours? Comment below. I read everyone. Step number 2. Master emotional control, not just time. When I first got into online business, I thought I had a time problem. Working full-time in construction as supervisor, I'd leave the house early, come home late, and by the time I sat down at the computer, I was drained. So naturally, I thought, if I just manage my time better, I'll finally get ahead. I downloaded planners, blocked off time, made schedules. But even when I had the time carved out, something else would hit. Overwhelm, frustration, self-doubt, and suddenly it wasn't a time issue. It was an emotional one. Because let's be honest, no amount of color-coded calendars will help you if you are emotionally exhausted or constantly questioning yourself. Back in the day, one night after work, I was sitting at my laptop trying to figure out how to connect my email autoresponder. It was something new and I was stuck. And in that moment, the old voice kicked in. Why are you even doing this? You're not a tech guy, you're a construction guy. This is too hard. Maybe this just isn't for you. I was this close to slamming the laptop shut, but I stopped. And I remembered why I started. I didn't leave a job I was comfortable in to give up at the first sign of struggle. I started because I wanted freedom, because I wanted more time with my family, because I wanted to build a life I didn't need to break from. That why grounded me. So instead of quitting, I took a break, breathed, watching a tutorial, gave myself grace, and kept going. Here is the truth. You don't need to be perfect with your schedule. But you do need to learn how to regulate your emotions when things get hard. Because they will. Resilient people don't have perfect routines. They have powerful reasons. They don't give up just because they feel overwhelmed. They pause, regroup, and keep their why in front of them like a compass. You are not failing because you are inconsistent with time. You are struggling because you haven't yet mastered your state. But the good news, emotional control is a skill. And it starts with awareness, honesty, and that deeper reason pulling you forward. Your why is stronger than your fear. Let it remind you who you are becoming, even on the hard days. How do you handle stress? Share it below. I read everyone. Step number 3. Build a mental toolbox for hard days. Let's be real. Some days will punch you in the face. You'll feel stuck, unmotivated, like everything you are doing isn't working. And if you don't have tools in place before that happens, you're going to want to quit. That's why you need what I call a mental toolbox. Just like a toolbox on a job site, something you can reach for when something breaks or gets tough. When I was still working construction full time and trying to build my business at night, I'd hit these walls. Some days I was physically exhausted. Other days it was mental. Like I just feel totally disconnected from the work. What helped? Not motivation, not some big inspiration video, just small tools, practical resets. Here is what's in my toolbox right now. I work out 3 days a week. Nothing fancy, no gym, no equipment. It's just bodyweight stuff. Squats, push-ups, stretches. It clears my head and gives me a win before the day starts. Cold showers. Yep, even 15 seconds under freezing water wakes me up and resets my nervous system. It's uncomfortable, but so is growth. A reset playlist. A few songs that instantly lift my energy or snap me out of a funk. Voice notes or journaling. I literally talk to myself on my phone like, alright, what are we stuck on? What's the real issue here? Vision reminders. A photo of my family. A saved quote. Something that reminds me why I'm doing this. These aren't random. They are strategic tools I've built up over time to help me recover faster and stay in the game longer. Why this matter? Resilience doesn't mean you never feel low. It means you know how to bounce back faster when you do. You don't need to rely on willpower or wait for a pep talk. If you build a toolbox now, it will be here when you need it most. So, ask yourself, what helps me reset? Make a list of 3 to 5 things. Save it somewhere. Practice using them before the tough days come. You don't have to feel ready, you just need the right tools. Step number 4. Cut the noise. Focus on what you can control. If there is one thing that will drain your resilience faster than anything else, it's focusing on stuff that's outside your control. I used to do this without even realizing it. For a while, every morning before work, I'd scroll the news. Headlines about the economy, inflation, politics, war. And before 8 a.m., my mind was already in panic mode. Then I tried to switch gears and build my business in the evening. But I had no focus left. No creativity, just this underlying feeling of stress. It hit me one day. Why am I giving my energy to things I can't influence at all? It was a total waste of time and focus. So I cut the news, I stopped doom scrolling, I unfollowed accounts that fed fear or negativity, and you know what happened? I suddenly had more clarity, more focus, more peace. I started putting my energy into the effort I show up with, the content I create, the people I talk to, the small action I take today. That's where progress happens. That's where resilience lives. Here is the truth. You can't control the algorithm, the market, what other people say, whether someone buys today. But you can control showing up anyway, sharing your truth, getting 1% better, choosing to try again tomorrow. And when you shift your focus to what you can control, you take your power back. So, take inventory this week. What are you giving energy to that drains you but doesn't move you forward? Cut it out. Reclaim that focus. Because resilient people don't waste time trying to fix the world. They fix their focus. Step number 5. Turn pain into purpose. This one is personal. Because let's face it, pain is part of the journey. Frustration, burnout, rejection, doubt. Whether it's business, life, or both, it hurts. But what if your pain wasn't something to hide or run from? What if it's the very thing that shapes your purpose? Back when I was still working full-time in construction, I remember hitting a moment where I just snapped mentally. I was standing on site, exhausted, staring at the same problems, same noise, same routine. And I thought, is this it? Am I just going to survive like this for the next 20 years? It wasn't that my job was terrible. It was that my life didn't feel like mine. I had no time, no freedom, and I felt invisible. That frustration became the spark that made me search for something else. And when I discovered affiliate marketing, I realized I didn't have to stay stuck. It wasn't just about making money. It was about building something that gave me control. Time with my family, a reason to grow, a reason to wake up. That pain, the quiet suffering of a routine I didn't choose, gave me clarity. It became my fuel. Here is what I learned. The very thing that breaks you can also build you, if you let it. Your hard days become the most honest part of your story. And that story, it will resonate with someone out there who feels exactly like you did. So instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Ask, how can this serve someone else one day? Because purpose doesn't come from having all the answers. It comes from walking through the mess and deciding to share the lesson. Resilience isn't built in comfort. It's built in chaos. So if today is hard, don't numb it. Don't run. Build something through it. Drop a comment below. What's one thing you are doing today to build your resilience? Let's grow through this together. And hey, if you found this helpful, give it a like. Share it with someone who's struggling. And subscribe for more videos like this. You've got this. Until next time, bye-bye.